I was going to film my wrap-ups where I usually film them, and the sun is right in my face. To be honest, this is the look you want in the video. Hello everyone and welcome to a new video. Today I am going to film my monthly wrap-up for August, which I read a lot in. I read 29 books, 8,919 pages, and I remind again that this does not count my audiobook pages. It was a really solid month, so I'm excited to talk about these, but not really because it's gonna take ages, but let's go. August was a month that only shot my TBR, so that was a really fun video, which made me also read a lot of like books I had on my TBR for a really long time, like all the YA shits, and it was a ride, so that was fun. First, I will mention the Gotathingforseason books I read, but not talk about them here. I already posted my Gotathingforseason wrap-up, which I will leave a link down below. So for Gotathingforseason in August, I read Valor by John Gwynne, Coraline by Neil Gaiman, Hurricane Child by Case and Calendar, and The Red Threads of Fortune by Neil Young. And all these I talked about in my Gotathingforseason wrap-up. Then the first official book I will be talking about then would be To Your Eternity by Toki Oima, and this one is the first volume in the series, and it basically follows this orb that turned into a wolf, that turned into human, and we're following the orb's journey, discovering humanity and stuff, and then other tribes and different things meeting and encounter other things. It's like a really like beautiful discovering world story, I would say. I ended up giving it like 4 out of 5 stars, even though like I usually don't share my ratings on manga, I guess. But yeah, Erica made me read this as per usual, and it was good. It was good, and I'm excited to continue. I then read Beastars Volume 8 by Paru Utagaki. This one just follows beasts that don't eat each other anymore, and it's like in a human drama. We follow the wolf of Goshi, who is actually a softie, and then someone has been killed, and then like they're trying to find out who, and like other things. He also falls in love with a bunny, so there's that. It is loads of fun, very interesting and intriguing. And it shouldn't be so interesting, but it just is. Then the first longer length novel we're going to talk about is Ever the Brave by Errand. This one is the second book in a Clash of Kingdom series. The first one basically follows our main character. She has to hunt down her best friend that people think committed a crime of treason. I don't remember exactly which treason it is. And then she goes out hunting him, and yeah, that's the first book. Because she hunted in the force of the king, she's not allowed to. So it's like she will go to prison, etc. if she doesn't do this. And yeah, that's the plot of the first book. This one continues what happened in the end. And I didn't really particularly like the first one. And this one was kind of like more interesting. Like you cared much more what was gonna happen. And I kind of disliked liking it more, because at a point I was like, oh my god, this is so stupid. But then I kept reading and I was just like, okay, I'm kind of interested in what will happen to them now. I will admit that I liked the new characters that were introduced, and I liked how it all wrapped up, I guess. But I know the third book follows more other characters than our two main characters, and I'm happy with that. I'm like fine with that a lot. So I will read the third one, even though I don't own it, but I would have read that anyway. I think I ended up giving these like 3 out of 5 stars, which sounds really generous. I think it's more like 2.5. And right now I can't actually remember everything that happened. It's like a billion books ago since I read it. So yeah. Again, I like this more than I thought I would, so there's that. I then read My Dress Up Darling by Shinju Fukuda, Volume 4. This one just follows a dude that made Hilo dolls, and then he started to make cosplays for his friend, and they together start making cosplays and stuff and meet other people that want them to make cosplays for them, and they take photos and cosplay. It has like hinty boobs and stuff in it, so it's just kind of shite, but it's also just kind of very entertaining and fun. But yay, I will keep reading it. I am entertained, so there's that. Then I read Before She Ignites by Jodie Meadows, which I did think I was gonna enjoy more, for example, than Ever the Brave, because this one I heard about for a really long time, and I knew it was about giants, and I was like, oh my god, that's really cool. I love giants, love me some all of that. But then it was just very disappointing. The whole book is set where the main character is in prison because certain events happen, and when you finally find out why, by the way, I'm like, this is so stupid. And then she spends the whole book in that one place. I would get it like if you saw the book out in prison, but you would expect more things to happen. Like basically the whole book is like a preparation for the main character to be ready for things that's gonna happen later. And I do think that that choice was weird. I feel like I read a prequel to the main series. This should have been a short story to prepare you for the main series. It shouldn't have been a whole 450, almost 500 page book where literally nothing happens. And I was so pissed reading it because I was so bored, and it was just like the same thing over and over and over. There were no developments, and like the plot was like, it wasn't even a plot. It was just a thing happening outside from where they were. Overall, I don't know how to tell you other than they were like boring, and I was very disappointed because I did think this was the kind of why I would enjoy a lot. And I will continue and finish the series eventually because I do that, and I do think like it has potential to be so much more, but I'm very disappointing of the setting. It has so many interesting elements to the story that could have been cool, and then it decided to just do the most boring thing you could with it, and that's very sad. I gave this 2 out of 5 stars. I was very pissed, so there's that. I then read These Divided Shores by Sarah Rush. This is a sequel to These Rebel Waves, which I did read and I quite enjoyed it. I think I gave it like 4 stars, maybe 3.5, but like a bit high, and I did really enjoy that. It's set on this one island that has like magical plants, and my nephew is screaming upstairs. There's this other, I was gonna say island or like country, that wants to take over like all the other countries and control magic, etc. We have had this war where they won, like not the evil people, like the people defending themselves, but now like war has started again because there was like only a pause in the war, and then we follow different characters that wants to stop this, among them like the son of like the person leading the war. And I did really enjoy the first book. I thought it was a nice setup, it was really entertaining, I enjoyed the characters, and in this one it just all fell apart. It was very disappointing. I was very pissed again. I think that it had a lot of great elements to it, but it became again very repetitive. A lot of things played out, but it didn't mean anything, and there was so many repetitive courses throughout the story where it was like they were trying to do this one thing and they were just talking about it over and over, and then no one did that thing. And I don't know how to describe it, this book, but I just thought it was a mess, truly. I think like I was just reading scenes and I was like, what is the point of this? And like then another scene happened, I was like, what is the point of this? Because I feel like nothing they did had consequences, but it didn't feel like it mattered. I don't know how to describe it. And it was just this one thing the main character could do that no one else could do, and I still don't get it, and I still don't understand how that's gonna affect everything, because it kind of just, it happened finally and then they all just ignored it, and I'm mad about that too, because it just, I think they ruined the logic of the world and they just didn't do anything about it. I don't want to spoil it, but it just, I'm mad. So I get this 2 out of 5 stars too. Maybe like 1.5. It was 2 very disappointing reads after one another, and as I said, I did really enjoy the first book, but this, I don't want this. Keep this away from me. Also, all the way in the end when they're like gonna defeat the evil poopy poop, what was that? We did all that, and that was what we got. All of that struggles. Still pissed. Let's move on. I then read My Hero Academia, volume 28, which continues the story, which is set in a world where 80% of the population has quirks, so there's turned into a supervillain, superhuman society. We have Midoriya, who wants to be a hero, goes to hero school, and they fight evil people. And it's great. We were like in the middle of the battle in this whole thing, and I kind of have forgotten. I was just like, oh, we're in a battle, and we're still in that battle. Oh, is it over, kind of? No, it's not. No, it's still going. So yeah, the next volume will also be the same battle, and it's fun. It's great fun. I then read Fool's Errand by Robin Hobb. This is the first book in the Heavy Man trilogy, which is his 3rd trilogy in the realm of the Elder Rings, and we are back with the Fitz and the Fool. And the first trilogy following Fitz is just that he is the bastard son of the king in waiting, who abdicates when he finds out that he exists, and he's later trained up to be the king's assassin. And you care so much about the characters, and this one was very sad, and I cried. There was tears. And I do love the world. I do love and adore the characters. I'm just like upset. And I am just so happy and grateful for what Robin Hobb has created, but I'm also pissed. So there's that. This one was really good. I almost gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I just feel like it was a bit slow, where a lot of things took time from happening, which is like very Robin Hobb, but like I gave it like 4.5 out of 5 stars. I then read Alanna, Their First Adventure by Tomorrow Pierce, which is the first book in the Song of the Lioness and like the first book in the whole world of Tomorrow Pierce's book. And I started like a whole new thing now again. And this one just follows Alanna, who wants to be a knight, but she's not allowed to. She's a girl. She switches place with her brother who wants to be a sorcerer, and then they all think she's a boy. And then she just goes to school to learn to be a knight. And I love setup books like this. I love the setup when like the main character is gonna be a hero. It's so very, very like typical fantasy, and is one of the things I adore the most about fantasy. So I ended up really, really enjoying this. It is definitely like this one at least written like a bit like, I would say like lower YA, late middle grade, but I love stories like that. It just made me like realize why I love fantasy so much, because like these beginner stories are like everything for me. And it was just fun to see Alanna interact with the different like peers and teachers and learning, and it's just like clearly a beginning story of someone that would become great, and I just kind of wait to delve deeper into this world. And yeah, I just ended up really enjoying this. I thought I wasn't gonna like it because I know that some thinking maybe it's like, I guess, simple, but like I think that was why I enjoyed it so much. So I ended up giving it 4 or 5 stars. And I'm excited to continue. We then have Spy Family Volume 5, which is by Tetsuya Endo. It follows Super Spy Twilight, who needs to get a family for like this undercover job. So he gets an assassin as a wife, but he doesn't know, and a telepath as a daughter, but he doesn't know either. But the daughter as a telepath know that the mother is the assassin. The dude, Twilight, is the spy, and it's just crazy, it's hilarious and awesome and amazing situations that I adore. It is comedy on the best I have ever read. It's becoming one of my favorite manga series right now, and I really, really, really recommend it like a lot. So I don't know what more to say, but like it is truly so great and fun. So I really, really want people to read it. Yay! I then finished my first audiobook for the month, which was The Hero of Ages by Brandon Sanderson. This one makes me now completing the first trilogy. I'm as sad as I was the first time I read it. I don't know what to tell you, like the third book is so sad, but when it all comes together, it's so great and amazing, and you can truly appreciate what Brandon Sanderson did here. I think he's so clever. And yeah, Mistborn just follows Wynn, who finds out that she is a Mistborn, which are people that ingest different metals that give them different powers, and they are going to throw down the Lord Ruler in the first book, and you will see what happens after that. It is my favorite series of all time, so I recommend it a lot. And I'm sad I'm done with this part, but I'm also now more excited to continue, because now I'm not as scarred as the first time. I will be forever sad about the first trilogy, but also excited to continue. I then read Magisterium, The Silver Mask by Holly Black and Cassandra Clare. This is the 4th book in the Magisterium series, and it basically follows Cal, who finds out that he has magic and goes to magic school, but it's about a lot more than that. I just kind of don't want to spoil it. But yeah, I think the story definitely started off in like a very typical way, where it was just like a lot of people were comparing it to certain other magic schools, but I do think it really breaks out of that. It's not even about the magic school anymore. We're just like really off the trail, just doing our own thing and trying to defeat evil, and it's just very entertaining and fun. I really like the characters, and I do think that the book goes in directions you don't expect, and I think especially it will be fun for like someone reading this series, like a big fan of Percy Jackson, for example, reading it and just having lots of fun, like a bit younger, I guess. But for me, it is also lots of fun because I love those kinds of books. But yeah, definitely a fun book, and I did enjoy it. So I gave it like 3.5 out of 5 stars. I don't know what more to say. I became really short. I don't know why. I then listened on my second audiobook, which was The Tombs of Atuan by Ursula K. Le Guin, which is the second book in the Earthsea cycle. And this one has been my favorite since the first time I read it, and it is still my favorite to this day. I really, really enjoyed this story here, but the first book follows Gad, who becomes a wizard and goes to wizard school, and he also needs to fight this darkness. This one has a different plot, but we do meet Gad again here too, of course, but it just basically follows this totally different thing. I don't know how to describe it, but basically I just really enjoyed the atmosphere in this story. It's so believable of where our main character grew up, and I remember reading it the first time, I got really like claustrophobic. I could imagine the tombs so well in my head that they scared me when reading it the first time, and I still kind of do. Like I can just visualize it so well, and it just works so well, and for that reason alone I just adore this, okay? And I just really like how the story wraps up and how it all comes together. And again, Ursula Le Guin's books are short, but I feel like she doesn't waste words, and like you just need to really keep up and just enjoy her writing for what it is, because I absolutely adore it. And I am now continuing, of course, these books. I am ready for the third one, or am I? I don't know. My reread of these are giving me a lot of joy, so there's that. 5 out of 5 stars. It's what it deserves. And then I read Grace and Fury by Tracy Banghart. This is the first book in this duology, and it follows 2 sisters. One of them, she has like trained her whole life to become like one of the chosen ones for the king, or like the prince, I guess. But I would say like more like part of his harem, because he chooses like every 2 or 3 years like new people that he can just fuck, yay. But then the sister gets chosen instead, and the one who was trained on life gets sent to a prison, and we turn the tables, and it's just one of them adjusting to life, the other one adjusting to the other life, and resistance is brewing because the whole system is not good, of course. And I did enjoy like the sister relationship, and I didn't think I would enjoy this, but this was actually ended up being very more entertaining than I thought it would be. I did end up caring about some things, and it worked for me. I just think like the funny like thing in the plot twist here is the plot twist exact same as I read in another book, and I am sure like it's a normal kind of plot twist, but I was just sitting there waiting the whole time. I was being like, this dude is not nice, and then it was exactly like that, and I was like, well lol. But it's not like, oh my god, I predicted that one thing, the book is bad, nothing like that. It was just very funny to me. But yeah, I did enjoy lots of parts of it somehow. I just thought like some of it was a bit like superficial, and like this is fun, but it's also like a bit like lol. I don't know how to describe it, but yay, I think I give it like 3 out of 5 stars, so I would say that's a generous enough rating. And I do want to read a sequel, but I do have the Favorite Edition. I want this sequel to match my Favorite Edition, but no one is selling it. I then read Solo Leveling by Chu Gong. This volume 1, the manhwa, and this one just follows our main character Jinwo, and he is like a hunter. They hunt different monsters, and then you get like money for like the pieces and stuff, and like go into dungeons and stuff. But he's like super weak. He really sucks. He's not good at this at all. And then he goes into this raid with some other people, and it's not going well, and like a result comes after this. I don't know if I'm going to spoil it, but it's like in that dungeon it all goes crazy, and after that it is all crazy, and I just adore it. Okay, it's so good, and I was so impressed by this. It was so entertaining, oh god, and you were so intrigued what was going to happen, and it's just such an easy read. It was marvelous. It was great. I almost gave it 5 out of 5 stars, and I would give it like 4.5 because there was just something holding me back, because I think I missed that one little bit. I don't know how to describe it, but truly an amazing story, and I've been very excited to read it for a while, and I'm excited that I finally did. It's been a lot of hype about this lately, and the hype is not lying, so here we are. Also forgot to mention this in my favorites, so now I'm a bit sad, but it's fine. We then have League of Legends, Realms of Runterra, the official companion, which is like by Riot Games, but it's actually just about a loads of people. And this is basically just like, as I said, a companion book to League of Legends, which is one of my favorite games, and it has beautiful illustrations like this, if you can see through this horrible light. The sun is like behind a plant too, so I have like a fucking plant pattern on myself. It's just a beautiful book, and since this is like about the realms of Runterra, it's literally about the realms of Runterra. We are literally going through every country and like saying what they're known for, and like have maybe some short stories that like really represents those countries. And I in the beginning was so impressed, and I really ended up loving it. I was like, this is a 5-star read for sure. And then like I felt, I guess I missed some things after a while. I wish it had more connections with like, I guess, characters we know, or like even more lore. I feel like it was just very superficial about like certain parts, but I did enjoy it a lot. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars and stuff, and it was just beautiful and stunning. Some of the short stories were a bit boring, so that also dried it down a bit. And like as a League of Legends fan, I'm so happy. I hope they make more of these. And overall, I was just sitting there very impressed that this was made and how it was made. And I wonder how the audiobook is, because you can't see the illustrations, but there is an audiobook, and I wonder how that is. But overall, very impressed. And if you're a League of Legends fan, 100% do go for it. If you're not, I don't see how this will be interesting to you. But I just really love the world of League of Legends, and I love how they're fleshing it out. And I want more books from the world, because my book loving heart needs it. Yay. I then read Glass Ward by Victoria Aveyard. This is the second book in the Red Queen series, and it basically just is the sequel to the first book, where like the main character find out that she can do magic even though she's not supposed to be able to, because only people with certain blood can do it, and she is like, I was gonna say like the poor people that can't, like the nobles can do it, but not her, but she can. I kind of forgot that this was more like, I thought it was like set like, I guess like more like a older setting, which is like normal in fantasy, but it's more like more fancy setting, more like X-Men setting, I would say, than anything else. And they remind me a lot of X-Men in this. I don't know why, but yeah, this one is just her after the events of the first one. They go around and meet new characters, and some people die, and that's about it. I was actually just way bored. I just wanted this to be over the whole time I was reading it. Nothing interesting happened. They were just meeting people and preparing, and that was it. Second book syndrome all the way. Nothing really developed except like the last bit of it actually will have some consequences. I give it 2 out of 5 stars. I will finish the series, but I was bored. I then read Promised Neverland volume 17 by Kai Shelley, and I am not happy about this. I love this series, it's my favorite if you've been here for a while, but I am not happy about the development here. Norman, why you do this to me? And I'm curious to see what the last 3 volumes will hold. I am not ready, but of course I will read them. And yeah, what to tell you is about these kids in the orphanage finding out the dark secret about the orphanage, and all goes to hell. And it's great fun. So do join me and cry. That's great. I then read Winter by Marissa Mayer, which is the final book in the Lunar Chronicles, unless you count like the short stories. And I finished the series. The first story is like a Cinderella retelling. The second one is a, I was gonna say like Red Riding Hood retelling. The third one is a Rapunzel retelling, and this one is of course Snow White. But they're all like in connect, like the characters we meet in each book do go to the next book, and they're all like have an interconnected story. This one was long, and I do think unnecessarily so. We had a lot of like repetitive scenes, or like scenes where like one thing happened and then there's like they were escaping, someone was captured, they were escaping, someone was captured. It like kept happening, and I was just like, this is a bit unnecessary, but it's fine. It was very long, but like since it is a fast read, it's fine. But I just feel like, as I said, it was a bit repetitive in that regard. Other than that, perfection. All the characters got to have their shining moments. All the characters got to wrap up the stories. It was truly a happily ever after, as I knew it would be, and it was beautiful. I almost cried in the end because I thought it was so stunning, and I'm very happy I finished this finally. It's been a while, but yeah, it's a very enjoyable series. I do understand why many people have been raving about it for years, because it is a very good one, and I enjoyed it a lot. I will read the short stories, of course, and yeah. Now I'm ready for more Marissa Mayer books. I have more, I just haven't read them. 4 out of 5 stars. And then was going to listen to the last book of Wheel of Time, A Memory of Light. I did not, because I was not ready. I decided then to listen to New Spring by Robert Jordan instead, which is Wheel of Time, but the prequel, so like book number 0, before the events of like the main series. We follow Moraine and Lanidis before the, as I said, like before everything. We see Moraine like training in the tower and stuff, and it was great. I loved seeing her and Swan in the tower together. I loved seeing her meeting Lan. Lan is my favorite character, so that's that. And this was just so enjoyable, much more enjoyable than I thought it would be. I love this, okay? I had so much fun listening to it. So 4.5 out of 5 stars, almost 5. I wish it was longer, so that's why it doesn't get 5. No, joking, but like, yeah. I then read Gearbreakers by Sohana Mikuta. This is the Faes and Gaze pick for August, which is the book club I am co-hosting. We are reading queer or sci-fi books every single month. As I said, this was the August pick. It was like an Afro romance. They make Mecca, which is like supposedly like gods kinda. And I was very excited for it, and I kind of ended up not liking it much. It's gonna be a live show. I don't want to spoil all my thoughts here, lol. No, it doesn't matter, but that's fine. Overall, there was just so many things that didn't make sense to me. Genuinely, the whole book did not make sense to me at all. So I'm excited to see what the other hosts would think. But I just think that there were so many elements here that was so good, and it all turned into nothing. I was so disappointed. I am so mad about it. Like, I was reading it, and it's like now one of my least favorite books to read for Faes and Gaze, probably. I will go much more into depth in the live show, like with actual examples and stuff, but just know that I did not enjoy it. I gave it like 2.5 out of 5 stars, and that's generous. We will see how the others feel about it, but know that I had, by the way, so high hopes. But yeah, I read Blue Flag Volume 2 by Kaito. This one is the story from these 3 here, and they all kind of love with each other. So I don't know how it's gonna end up, but it's kind of sad. It's like a very sad tone series, but with happy, cute moments. It ended on a fucking intense cliffhanger here, so I'm eager to read the next volume. That is unavailable, of course. And yeah, I just like, if you want some queer manga that's has a lot of emotions in it, so you can go underlining queer all the time, but I don't think it's like the focus is more like the relationships between these people, and I think that's cute. Read it. I then read My Policeman by Bethan Roberts, which I read because of my friend Caroline, and basically I didn't know that this was gay even, but it basically just follows this woman who marries this dude, and then that dude is secretly gay and she doesn't know, and he has a relationship with this other dude, and it's just her finding out about it and like how this develops. And I'm very conflicted about this book. I will make another video about it later, hint hint, but basically I'm conflicted because it's kind of just like a sad tragedy gay story, and I hate those, and I can see it's like it's supposed to be touching and stuff, but it was also like very annoying. There was so many parts that annoyed me so much reading it, but I don't know, it can also just be a representation of how it was back then, and like it's heartbreaking, but like that's how it actually was. But it was also just, I'm looking at it and I'm like pissed. But yeah, it will be interesting to make another video about this later, so I won't like go into depth here. I actually don't know what I'm rating yet. I think like it could be a bit high, but also it could be like 1 star. So I can't rate it. I don't know what to rate it. I just gave it like 3 stars because it's like in the middle of the tree, because I did like parts of it, and I think the most thing I liked about this was how it was written and how the story was represented. That was like what I liked the most. But with the story itself, I don't know if I like it. I can't decide. So yeah. The next one is The Warrior Moon by Carrie Austin Ferreira, which is the final book in their Bright Ascendancy. It's an FF romance between these 2 women, and one of them is like daughter of like the leader chief of like horse people, like they're riding around horses and stuff. The other one is like the future empress of Hokan, I think the country is called. And yeah, it has also gotten criticism of its rap towards like Japanese culture, so I do recommend checking that out before you read it. But basically I was interested in the FF relationship, and like just like a really high fantasy, and it was like a lot to do with like gods and like if these people are actually human, and I don't know how to describe, like it was like interesting elements of like myths and legends and like the relationship between them. And so I was intrigued in the story and did read the first book, and I absolutely adored that. That was almost a 5-star read, I will tell you. The second book was disappointing. I gave it 3 stars, and it's Did you get that on camera? Well, dang. I need to get that up afterwards for the thumbnail, so I'm kind of pissed. It's fine. Either way, I will be completely honest and say that I was very disappointed in this. I think I almost gave it 1 star. I was so mad because it was so boring. Nothing happens. They just walk around for like 400 pages. They literally walk, and then they have a little battle, and then they walk, and they have a little battle. And I was falling asleep, and it tried to become like this war story battling for the country, and it took the shift away from the focus of what we enjoyed about the story, relationship between the characters. It introduced new characters, point of views that we didn't have in the other books, that I wanted them away. I wanted it to go away, and I was so disappointed. What I loved about the first book was how much these two characters loved each other, and just like they're in journeys but together. And now we try to be like this whole like save the kingdom thing, and it does not work. I think like of course save the kingdom, but the way it was written did not work for me. The way it all played out did not work for me. I want to just take these books away from myself and pretend it was a standalone. So there's that. It had a few good parts. As you can see, I like even tabbed this one pink place, and it was like my favorite part of the whole book. Nothing surprising, nothing exciting. The final was a disappointment. It doesn't like give more to the story. It was just like, oh, it's gone in this direction, let's just end it. Bye. Yeah, 2 stars for this, the final book of one of the books that I enjoyed the most for a long time. So that was sad. And now for the final book of this A Billion Years Long video, The Have Whispered Me a Love Song by Eku Takeshima, Volume 1. And this one was recommended to me by Cecilia Reeds, of course. And it's just basically these two girls, and then this girl, she see her perform. She says she is in love at first sight. And then she thinks like actually in love, but it's actually more like a fan, or is it? And then they start falling for each other, and it's super adorable. I really enjoyed it, and I'm very excited for the next one because it was so cute. It is unavailable, the next one, of course. Lots of blushing, lots of cuteness. It was adorable. So I recommend this a lot, if I didn't say. And that was all the books I read in August. Am I really gonna keep these glasses on for the end? I should take them off so you can see me when I leave. Oh god, I can't see. I didn't hear you. I can see. It was a successful reading month in pages and reading amounts, but unsuccessful, I would say, in my enjoyment. I read some really good ones, but a lot of not enjoyable ones in my opinion. I don't have glasses on and I can't see anything. I hope you enjoyed my thoughts on these books. I'm sorry I am so scattered all the time. The light was distracting, and after like book 15 I kind of lose it a bit, so it's fine. Leave a guitar emoji down below if you enjoyed this. You see me soon in a new one. Thank you so much for watching. Now we need to do the thumbnail. Bye!